Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, November the 30th, 2023. It's the last day of this month. Next month, it's going to start the first day of the last month of the year. The next thing you know, we're going to be in the 2024, you guys. So as y'all come in, go ahead and hit that like button and partake in the poll that I got in the live chat right here only on YouTube, y'all. I want to ask you guys, do y'all think that another pandemic is coming? Right? Whether you believe, we're going to be having restrictions and masks and lockdowns and all of that, or whether you think, we may not, DW Conley says, but 2024 is going to potentially be crazy. I think so. And it's an election year. So the last election year was pretty crazy. I didn't think it was going to get more crazy than what it was. When was that, in 2020? But I don't know. It could get more crazy. But anyway, as always, y'all go ahead and hit that like button. All right, so listen, I was kind of contemplating on whether or not I was going to cover this particular article. Because I was like, I kind of don't want to help create some type of hysteria or anything like that. But I thought it was an interesting article. And like I said, I wasn't sure if I was going to cover it or not. But I started doing some thinking because I remember back in 2019. I want to say it was at the end of 2019. I remember I got sick twice that year. So I got sick on Halloween. I wasn't that sick. I was just, I kind of had that little bug that kind of comes around that same time every year. Sniffles, coughing, and, stuff like that. I mean, I was sick, but I was functional. So I got sick that year. I got sick in October that month. Hey, good morning, LaChat. What is going on? Good morning. So then at the end of 2019. So I got sick in October. Then December, this is right around Christmas, I got sick again. And I remember I was sick pretty bad. And at first I was just like, man, I must be going crazy or something. Because usually once I get sick that one time that year, I'm usually good. It's like my body builds up the antibodies to fight off whatever else or potential threat that may come my way. But anyway, I got real sick at the end of 2019, and it was around Christmas. I was in bed for like 2-3 days. So I believe that I had COVID at that time. I think I had COVID because it was bad. It was like, I was like, man, I've never really been this sick in my life because I was down. But that was before the whole COVID thing had come out. And I remember my wife one morning, and I think this is right before I got sick. She was showing me these videos on social media from these people in China, and China was just going crazy. And they were saying that there's some new virus going around in China. Because at first I thought it was just propaganda. And then I thought it was just like clips from like some Chinese show or some Chinese movie or something like that, because they were dragging people into the hospitals and they had guards and stuff guarding people inside of their homes, making sure that they don't come out. Folks is walking around with hazmat suits and stuff like that. So, I was just like, man, that's just kind of crazy what's going on in China. And then, of course, in early 2020, uh, the year 2020, then that's when the whole COVID thing popped off, and then the quarantine and this and that and the third. So, um, and then ironically, that was an election year. Yeah, LeChat is right. It was crazy. It was crazy. So we had the lockdowns, and y'all remember that, man. Yo, can you believe that was actually 3 years ago? 3 years ago. I mean, time be flying. So anyway, after taking all of that into account and consideration, I read this article the other day, and I said, man, maybe I need to go ahead and cover this because I want people to kind of be aware this time, because I remember when I was sick, and when I caught COVID, because I ended up with COVID at the end of 2021. I had just started the job that I'm at now, and I ended up with COVID, and I was down for 2 weeks. Caught it around Thanksgiving, right before I caught it the week of Thanksgiving, and I was down for like 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Grace and peace, Carl McCoy. And I always thought, I said, man, if I would have known that this was going to be this bad, what would I would have done to prepare myself? So I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cover this article because I want people to be prepared, and I want to, continue to prepare myself and my family. And then also, and another reason what prompted me to do this, because I read this a few days ago. I was watching Sister April last night. She was talking about how her and her whole household was sick, and there's some people at the job who are sick. And then ironically, I wake up with this dry cough this morning, and I'm like, oh man, I hope this ain't no respiratory thing, because usually that's how it starts off, as this dry cough. And then as the day progresses, and a couple of days later, it'll progress, and then it'll turn into something else. So all right, let me go ahead and cover this, kind of put everybody up on game right now. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into this article. This is from thechristianpost.com, all right? And it says, respiratory virus surging in China, raising concerns about new global pandemic. This is from November 28, 2023. So this came out Tuesday, all right? So I don't know if mainstream media has been covering this. I haven't seen nothing so far besides this article. The chat says, I thank God that I never contracted COVID and I was in the risk group, black and overweight. Yeah, thank God you didn't, because it was bad. A couple of people that I know on my wife's side of the family, they contracted COVID and they died. So it can be pretty serious. It can be pretty serious. But this particular respiratory infection, this thing here, is probably going to make people be more concerned and more conscious about this new strand or whatever this is that's coming out. All right, I'm gonna read it. We're gonna reveal it in a minute. Cases of respiratory illnesses are surging in northern China, especially among young children. All right, so if you guys got children, they're saying that this thing is surging amongst children. And that's another reason why I'm doing this live, because Sister April was saying that a lot of her kids, I think she has 4 kids, and 3 out of the 4 were actually sick and in bed with some type of respiratory thing going on, and she herself had it. Raising global concerns about a potential new pandemic threat 4 years after the emergence of COVID-19 in the country. Chinese health authorities claim the increase is due to a mix of known viruses coinciding with the country's first full cold season post the lifting of strict COVID restrictions last December. Now, if you guys remember, COVID-19 really did not affect children that bad. They still contracted it, because my 11-year-old and back then, my 11-year-old, she was like 8 or 9, and my 17-year-old, she was like, 15, 16. They both ended up with COVID, but they got over it fairly quickly, besides, my wife and I think I was down the worst, because I got the most gray hairs in the household. So, the more grays you got, the more it affect you. Now, if you just full salt with zero pepper, then you had a 0.5% chance of living. But since I got these grays, and I'm like, about 45% gray, I had about a 20% chance of living, so. But anyway, but like I was saying, back then, that particular strand of COVID didn't really affect children like that, so they were kind of not in the danger zone. But with this new virus that's supposed to be coming out, or that is out, it seems as if now the children are more susceptible to it. Now, I'm not trying to put my tinfoil hat on too early. But there are certain diseases and respiratory illnesses and things that only affect children more than it affect the adults. So I'm not gonna go there, because people turn around and say that this must be some type of conspiracy to attack the children. And first they had the adults, now they got the children. So I ain't saying none of that. But it's just, I don't know, just interesting stuff. Let's continue to read. On November 13th, China's National Health Commission reported a significant rise in respiratory illnesses, predominantly in children, according to France 24, which, citing authorities, said the increase was linked to the end of COVID restrictions, the onset of the cold season, and the circulation of known pathogens, including influenza, mycoplasma, pneumonia, respiratory syncytial virus, RSV, and SARS-CoV-2. So it sounds like that what they're saying is that since they've had people all locked down and bottled up in their homes and all of that stuff, these people could not let their immune systems basically build up to fight against this new respiratory illness, which I ain't, don't want to put it out there. Grace and peace, Mr. Irv. Good morning. But I hate to be the one to say that I told you so to certain folks. I don't know if I really talked about this live, but there's going to be a lot of I told you so's going on where people said that these lockdowns and these restrictions are keeping people away from each other. And, that's not really good for a person's immune system because you're kind of keeping them locked down and bottled up in their homes. So therefore, if another virus or something starts to sweep the country, a lot of people will be more susceptible to it. And it could breed a stronger virus. You know what I'm saying? So, excuse me. So I don't know. It's just real interesting stuff. But they're saying that because of their strict COVID restrictions, they're now trying to blame it on that this new potentially harmful virus is it is a result of people being on strict lockdown restrictions, which, again, people were saying a couple of years ago that that's not a good idea, but now they're starting to come to the point to where they're saying that, oh, maybe that wasn't a good idea. I don't know. Grace and Beast, John M. Good morning. He says there's not enough data to determine if this is a new pandemic. Yeah, and that's why I kind of agree too. But, at the same time, people were saying that about COVID-19, so I don't know. And we're gonna get into some of that stuff a little bit later. Last Monday, ProMed, a public disease surveillance system, highlighted overwhelmed hospitals in Beijing and northeastern Liaoning province due to a pneumonia outbreak. Symptoms observed include fever, lung inflammation without a cough, and pulmonary nodes with no reported deaths. So, just like I said, at the end of 2019, The same thing was happening. Same thing was happening where the hospitals in China were overwhelmed, and they say that this is happening again. Several parents at a Beijing children's hospital confirmed that their children had mycoplasma pneumonia, or quote unquote walking pneumonia, a treatable bacterial infection common among children. Similar surges in diseases like RSV and flu were observed in the UK and US post-pandemic restrictions, the Telegraph noted. Symptoms of walking pneumonia include sore throat, fatigue, and a lingering cough, which can deteriorate into pneumonia in severe cases. Yeah, so walking pneumonia is common amongst children. So that's why I'm not too quick to jump the gun and be like, well, this is probably, some new manufactured disease and nobody ever seen this before. It's just like, no, so some of these things have been common for a while. All right. However, the World Health Organization recalling Beijing's past opacity during the COVID-19 pandemic has sought more details from China about these, quote, undiagnosed pneumonia, quote, end quote, cases, France 24 said, adding that Beijing assured that no unusual or novel pathogens were detected. The WHO, which is the World Health Organization, so if you guys hear me say WHO, I don't want you guys to be like, who is the WHO? The WHO noted that the expected increase in such illnesses with winter's arrival. Experts like Francois Ballot from University College London and Paul Hunter from the University of East Anglia suggest the surge is likely due to the end of COVID-19 restrictions and a lack of prior immunity in children. Catherine Bennett from Deakin University in Australia highlighted the reduced exposure of young children in China to common pathogens due to prolonged lockdowns impacting their immunity levels. Now remember, Fauci said that the lockdowns were good and this is what's going to help the country. This is what's going to help the world. People are not going to die from the lockdowns. But now they're saying about 3 years later, oh, well, maybe. Well, actually, Fauci was saying in the WHO and the WHO, I see y'all letting the jokes fly in the comment section. But the WHO, was telling people that all of these lockdown restrictions were going to be beneficial. But now they're saying that, oh, well, maybe it wasn't beneficial. I mean, what's really going on, people? And as y'all come in, please go ahead and hit that like button, and partake in that poll. I see that poll is kind of moving back and forth. It looks like that people are, starting to vote. Got some people voting right now. So far, I'm asking a question in the live chat. I'm asking, and this is only on YouTube, could another pandemic be on the way? 38% of you say yes. 15% of you say no, and 46% of you say maybe. Maybe. All right, let's continue to read. The WHO advises people in affected areas to follow standard precautions against respiratory illnesses, including vaccination. All of these vaccines that have been coming out, they're saying go and get vaccinated again. So make sure y'all go get another vax, all right? Because of the World Health Organization, on top of all of the vaccines that's out there, and all of the vaccines that a lot of people done took, go get another one. So they're saying go and get vaccinated again. Isolation if symptomatic, and testing or mask wearing as needed. So basically, keep doing the same thing that they did during the C-19 pandemic. Keep doing that, and everything's going to be all right. It currently advises against travel restrictions to China. But ironically, they're not telling you what type of foods, what type of vegetables you should be eating, you should be partaking in. Just like Mr. Irv said earlier, he says, time to stock up on your vitamins. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Grace and peace, Sister Sheila. Mahal chat says, jib jab, no. I don't know. That's what that's what the World Health Organization is recommending, y'all. I'm just reading the article. They saying that you need to go get that new jab and wear your mask and quarantine yourself if you got some type of symptoms of this stuff. So just basically do the same old thing, which they are saying, which led to this new virus. So these same things that led to this new virus, you need to go out and do the same old thing, because what happened back then, that was bad. All of those restrictions, that was bad. But what you need to do is do these new restrictions, which is basically the same old thing. If you do it today, it's going to work. It's definitely going to work. Social media last month reported nationwide hospital increases in infections, often clustered in schools and nurseries, according to the Telegraph. Xu Huaxia of the Chinese PLA General Hospital noted a fierce wave of mycoplasma pneumoniae infections. Why don't I just say pneumonia? I'm sorry, it's pneumonia. This is a typo. They put an E at the end of it. All right, so it's pneumonia, but somebody they put the E. All right, mycoplasma pneumonia infections, with more patients showing mixed infections and drug resistance, the newspaper said, adding that Li Yuhakan from Beijing's Children's Hospital described a high level of pediatric respiratory diseases throughout the year, with multiple peaks linked to various pathogens. So I don't know why they're pushing. I don't know why they're pushing these medicines. They're saying that, a lot of these medicines is this thing is resistant to a lot of medicines. So therefore, they can turn around and say, well, hey, we got another medicine that we think that you guys should be giving your children, and that medicine is going to work. That vaccine, that's the one. Don't take the old vaccine. Well, no, you need to take the old vaccine if you ain't got it, but you need to take these new ones as well. Just like Sister Sheila Mahone says, yeah, it's money. It's money. And if y'all don't know, pharmaceutical, big pharma, what they call it, is money. Vaccines and all of that stuff is money. The recent surge also has raised concerns about growing antibiotic resistance, as mycoplasma pneumonia increasingly evades macrolides, a preferred treatment class. The British newspaper cited a February 2022 study which found macrolide resistance in over 80% of mycoplasma pneumonia cases in hospitalized children in China. However, Chinese experts emphasize the low mortality rate, with few critical cases and no related deaths reported so far. Thank God for that. Thank God for that. Hopefully this is just a real bad case of the flu. That's what I'm hoping. I hope this don't turn into some huge pandemic thing like we saw with COVID-19. I mean, COVID-19 was and is a serious disease or a serious virus, but it's not that serious to where, you need to be locking people down and shutting people up, in my personal opinion. Some social media images, unverified, show children in schools with intravenous lines, the Times said. So they got these kids hooked up to IVs. First of all, and so you got to watch out for the propaganda too. Who the heck is going to send their child to school with an IV? If a kid got an IV hooked up to his vein, why is he even in school? Paul Hunter, professor in medicine at the University of East Anglia, commented on the difficulty in diagnosing the cause, but suggested a bacterial rather than viral infection given the symptoms and pulmonary nodes observed. The predominance of cases in children suggests it is unlikely a new viral respiratory pathogen, Hunter said. Francois Ballot from the UCL Genetics Institute referred to the phenomenon as, quote unquote, immunity debt, a consequence of prolonged lockdown in China, suppressing the circulation of respiratory bugs and hence decreasing immunity to endemic bugs. That is the end of this article. So all of the stuff that people have been saying when they were talking about lockdowns and restrictions, and doctors was coming out saying that, hey, this is not a good idea, because I don't know if y'all remember the term herd immunity. People was talking about this idea of herd immunity, because if you guys remember, I want to say it was Switzerland. I think it was Switzerland. Switzerland or the Netherlands, one of those countries over there. They didn't do any lockdowns. They said, forget it. We're just gonna, we're just gonna ride this thing out. And I think they had 0 COVID deaths. Now although they did have, the presence of COVID-19 in the country, but they had 0 COVID deaths. They said, we refuse to lock our country down. So and they're okay. You haven't heard anything else about them. There's a lot of countries in Africa who didn't lock down as well, and they're okay. I mean, if you guys remember, they were trying to basically test out the COVID-19 vaccine in Africa first. And I want to say, I'm trying to remember what country that was. Was it? I can't remember what country it was. I think it was it Zambia? It may have been Zambia. Grace of Peace, Regina. Yeah, I think it was Zambia, where they wanted to roll out or they wanted to test out the vaccines. And they were just like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. We're not doing that. Actually, I covered that on this Christian news segment. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick, because I remember, and this is a couple of years ago, I don't know if I'll be able to pull it up, but I pulled up this article and I read it where they had, I think, I'm trying to remember what country it was, but the country, they swabbed some type of fruit, a cantaloupe or something like that, and they sent it in for COVID-19 testing, and then they swabbed like a goat, and they sent it in, and the sample from the fruit came back COVID-19 positive, while the one from the goat did not. You know what I'm saying? And then they were just like, yeah, we don't want any more testing. We don't want anything else from you guys. It was just like, no thanks. Y'all can't even get y'all testing right. It was just like, how's a cantaloupe gonna have is it gonna test positive for COVID-19? So it was crazy. I'm trying to see if I can pull that up. Hold on, let me see. But yeah, just like LeChat said earlier, it was crazy. It was crazy. Let me see if I can pull this up. Let me see. And it was so long ago, man. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pull this up. Let me see. Let me go down, because it's gonna irk me and it's gonna bother me. It's really gonna bother me if I don't find out which one that is. I don't know. Maybe I'll find it out later, and then maybe just post it. Maybe just post it in the in my community tab section. But yeah, it's just crazy. I think I'm close. No, I'm not. I'm not close. I don't know. Can't find it. Anyway, if I find it, I'll post it in the chat. But yeah, you guys go ahead and partake in that poll that I got in the live chat. I'm asking y'all. All right. Asking everybody here, do you think that a new global pandemic is on the way? Right? So, well, let me see. Let me get back to my thing. I'm way out of bounds. I'm like, how come I don't see my poll? But anyway, y'all go ahead and partake in that chat. And plus, y'all go ahead and do me a favor and hit that like button. Hit that like button. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. What y'all thinking in the comments, right? Because according to the poll, I'm asking you guys, could that pandemic be on the way? And so far, 36% of you say yes, 14% of you say no, and half of you, which is 50%, says maybe. Maybe. TT Mouse says it's a pandemic. Yeah, just like Sister Sheila Mahone says, hit that like button. Please hit that like button. John M says the media and medical officials should be promoting healthy eating and vitamins and exercise. Yep, exactly. TT Mouse says just in time for the elections. And this is where I put my tinfoil hat on because I was going to talk about this too. I mean, we're kind of seeing the same thing play over again, just like it was in at the end of 2019. Because we knew that 2020 was the election year, and that's when all of the crazy stuff started happening, and this whole medical stuff, pandemic hysteria, which a lot of people believe swayed the election. I'm not gonna give my 2 cents on that because you start talking about that, they turn around, they shut your channel down. You can't be talking about that. Can't be talking about that election and the COVID-19 and all of that stuff. Being cobbled together. I ain't gonna say nothing about it. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut for now. But yeah, I just feel that it was pretty interesting, the timing of all of that. But however, just like John M said, we need to be promoting healthy eating and vitamins and exercise. And listen, one thing that I found out, and I learned this during the time that I had COVID-19, right? Like I said, I had been down in the bed for almost 2 weeks. And vitamin D, okay? Let me tell y'all, vitamin D, and disclaimer, I am not a doctor or a physician, okay? So I'm just telling y'all what worked for me. So you can do it if you want to. You can look into what I'm saying and see if it's true or not. What may work for me may not work for you. Everybody's body is different. Everybody has certain allergic reactions to certain things, but I'm just going to tell you what happened, what worked for me. So I was doing some research because I was battling this, and I'm like, man, I ain't got no ivermectin and all of these other, things that people were saying that they were taking that was just killing the COVID-19 thing. Because you got to remember, by the middle of 2020, they started restricted ivermectin. They basically banned it. They said you can't get it. Don't even worry about taking it. If anybody who's caught selling it, we're just gonna go ahead and put you in jail. All types of crazy stuff. So I didn't have ivermectin. So I'm sitting back and I'm just like, just doing research, trying to figure out, how to battle COVID-19. I was watching video after video after video. So I came across this guy, and I think that he was like an Indian American guy, and he was saying that in India, there's a lot of poverty. Just like there's a lot of poverty in a lot of these other countries. But he said in India, the way that they fought it was that they took high doses of vitamin D. Now, this is if you had COVID, right? So what he recommended was that you had to take 50,000 international units of vitamin D. Let me see if I got, because I keep my vitamin D on me. I take my vitamin D often because I'm always traveling and I'm susceptible to stuff. So look at that. See, y'all see that? That's my vitamin C and D. Okay, because y'all, just in case people think I'm capping. All right. So this is the vitamin D that I have. Okay. Now, if you look right here, you might not be able to see it on camera, but if you read it, It shows you how many international units are on the bottle. All right. So you see how it says 2000 IU. Okay. So you got to take about 50,000 IUs a day. Okay. That's if you got COVID-19, which is a respiratory thing. And they say vitamin D is very good for respiratory, or high doses of vitamin D is good for respiratory issues. So they say you take it 3 times a day. So if you got something like 2,000 international units, what I was doing was that I was taking 20,000 in the morning, maybe 10,000 in the afternoon, and then I was taking another 20,000, before I went to bed, right? And whenever I ate, that's when I took it. So, but what I did at night was that, and this is what the doctor recommended, was that you get into the shower and you turn the water up pretty hot. Now you don't want to, get it to where it's boiling hot and it's burning your skin, but you want to get it to where it's enough to where you can stand it. So you want to stay in that shower for about a good 15 minutes, excuse me, until you raise your body temperature. So once your body temperature starts to raise, that activates your white blood cells and it gets your blood flowing. So once you finish taking a hot shower, once you get out, you take the rest of the vitamin D, right? Whatever you got, whatever you haven't taken, you take the rest of that, and that'll, especially while your immune system is activated, and that vitamin D is going to help fight off whatever respiratory issue you got, right? For COVID-19. And that's what they were saying. So, just a little nugget out there. So increase your vitamin D intake. Now, I'm not saying that you need to be taking 50,000 international units, all right, a day right now while you're healthy. Don't do that, because you don't want to end up, putting too much vitamin D into your body. But, always talk to your physician, talk to your doctors to make sure that you can take a safe amount of vitamin D, and what is a safe amount for you? Because, right now, since it's gloomy and, it's, you don't really got much sunlight, and plus a lot of people are vitamin D deficient because so many people work on the inside. A lot of people are not out. There's a lot of people who work, um, you know, in their homes and stuff. People don't really go out and take walks and do stuff like that anymore. A lot of people in America are vitamin D deficient. And they say that this is pretty common amongst white people. I mean, I'm sorry, not white people, black people. It's really common amongst black people, that we are vitamin D deficient. So make sure, yes, take your vitamin D. All right, take your vitamin D, and like I said, try to figure out what's the right dose for you. Also take your vitamin C. Okay, so I got this vitamin C with zinc. I travel with this all the time. Okay, stay up on your vitamins, eat healthy. Okay, now try to get your vitamins from healthy foods, stuff that's like high in vitamin C and high in vitamin D. All right, make sure that you're eating that stuff so you don't have to depend on the pills, because I'm not really good at taking pills. I really don't like taking medicine. Sometimes I go, days without taking my vitamins until I start coughing. I'm like, I'm doing all of this here. Don't wait till you get to that point. Don't be like me, because I'm not the smartest man in the world. All right. So, but eat healthy. Get your leafy greens in. Always try to eat something with that's a leafy green. Eat your onions, fruits and vegetables. If you want a snack, you get hungry, always try to get like some berries or some type of fruit or something. Don't go for the candy bars and the chips and all of that. At least try to walk. Like me, I got my watch. I try to get your steps in. I got a little smart watch. Yes, eat salmon, sardines, broccoli, and salad. I love salmon and I love broccoli. I'll eat that all day, every day. Salmon is packed with omega-3s. I also eat a lot of Brussels sprouts too, because I whip them up pretty nice. My wife, she whips them up pretty nice as well. But and try to figure out what you like to eat. Everybody's everybody's palate is not the same, but there are certain foods that you can whip up that that tastes pretty good. Like first when I was a kid, I hated Brussels sprouts, but they got recipes out there to where you eat them. I mean, I can eat a whole bowl of them. You know what I'm saying? Not even bat an eyelash. So take all of that stuff into consideration. So, and like I said, I wanted to bring this article out because I want people to be aware of what's going on, and I want you guys to kind of get a heads up because we don't know which way this thing is going. It's just like a hurricane. We don't know how this thing is going to hit or how it's going to affect us. And they saying that this thing greatly affects children. So watch what your children eat. Do not just be, letting them eat McDonald's and Chick-fil-A and all of that stuff all day. Make sure your children are eating healthy. If you eating healthy, they should be eating healthy. Don't let them walk into the house with a bag of fast food, and while you sitting back cooking all of this healthy food and you eating it yourself, and it's dinner time, and here they go with a bag of McDonald's and Burger King. No, don't let them do that. You know what I'm saying? Don't let them do that. She says, how do you prepare Brussels sprouts? The little balls are disgusting. Well, what you do is that you cut them up. You know what I'm saying? I cut them up. I season them with black pepper, some salt. Sometimes I use a little garlic salt. And I forgot there's a couple there's some other seasonings that you can use. You can get like some Cajun seasoning or something like that. Cut them up, put all your seasonings in a bowl, put a little bit of olive oil in it, mix them around, and then I bake them in the oven. Bake them for I think on 400, maybe about 20-25 minutes, whatever. And till they get a little crispy. TT Mouse says, my son eat whatever I eat, but I love cereal. She says he loves cereal. And also, I hate to say this, Sister TT Mal, although I'm over my time, I need to get up out of here, man. I'm supposed to be up out of here. And I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna get up out of here. Sister TT Mal and everybody, y'all gonna hate me for this, but reduce your sugar intake. All right. Reduce your sugar intake. Not saying eliminate it. Like me, well, I haven't really eliminated it, but I have drastically cut back on sugar. Like I drink a lot of water. I don't drink soda. I don't drink juice. I don't eat cookies and cakes and all of that stuff like I used to. And actually, if you guys go back to maybe like a few years ago when I was eating whatever I want, you can see a difference, like how my skin was like a lot darker then. My face was a lot fatter. Ever since I stopped eating a lot of that stuff, I'm more healthy. I don't get sick as much. My body doesn't hurt and ache, but it's a topic for another discussion. Listen, man, I gotta get up out of here. Cheerios are good. Listen, y'all do me a favor, hit that like button on the way out, partake in that poll, and as always, y'all like this video, rate it, share it. If y'all think that this is important information, share this video. Comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so whenever I get ready to go live, you guys will be the first ones to show up and to see the live from the beginning to the end. And as soon as I upload a video, you guys will be the first ones to see it. All right, with that, you guys have a blessed day, and I will see y'all next time, Lord willing.